Yes, very good, dear Astromania, because I am here again at the headquarters of the New Jersey Astronomical Association. Today, it's my turn to duty with the public, and I have to serve the public, and then I'm going to take advantage. It's April Galaxy season, so come on, I'll do it. I'm planning an intriguing experiment, photographing everything in sight. This area of galaxies of the VIRGO cluster. In addition, this includes constellations like the Cavalry, Berenice, Leo, and others. I'm going to focus on the VIRGO constellation because, well, as many of us know, there are the brightest galaxies, or most of the brightest concentrated galaxies. So I'm going to do an experiment. Let's see how it goes. It works.
Considering your situation specifically,
we have Well, like I said, I'm going to use 3 different instruments to attack this patch of sky. We're in, like I said, the season of galaxies. We're in spring. We've got this whole big cluster of galaxies in Virgo, Cabrera, Berenice, Leo, etc. I'm going to use these 3 instruments. Each one possesses unique characteristics that make them distinctly different from one another. Visual fields, but also color cameras, or they are monochromatic. The techniques employed vary, and thus I will determine which area of the sky to focus on and proceed accordingly. How about him? Final result, I'm going to make 3 videos at the end, 1 for each instrument, and let's go. So final to compare each one of them. To start with, the first instrument, as you can observe, is indeed equipped with stellar capabilities. For optimal performance, I have aligned it in equatorial mode, which provides substantial benefits. In fact, provided a small modification for this equatorial mode that I am anticipating. I bought a wedge of these that is, of course, more specialized. It hasn't reached me yet. I bought it on Amazon, so what I expect, because I made this adaptation, is quite a bit. Practice, in fact. I like it because here I can put something heavy, and it is a kind of counterweight to give more stability to the yes. So the yes, I repeat, it is the first one of the 3 instruments that I am going to use tonight. I'm worried because with every jump, a little rain falls, it doesn't clear completely. And I'm worried that they're going to get wet, but hey, I have some tarps there, etc., for raincoats to protect it just in case. But I see suddenly they're selling some clouds again. I repeat, the first instrument I installed, the C-Star, is of all the one with the smallest field of vision. It's the only one without a cooling system. The camera is a camera. normal, let's say, in the sense that it has no cooling system for deep steel, but it is, as many know, excellent. Then I'm going to install the other two instruments. Let's see what the next instrument is. Well, the next instrument is the Oscar telescope with this color camera, the OSIS 071 color. I put the filter, adapter filter with the alpha hydrogen filter, but of course I'm going to remove it. Because for galaxies, it doesn't make any sense. So I repeat, it will be the ad card with this ASIS 070 and 1:1 color camera. Star Trekker, this very simple Star Trekker Start Adventure Mini.
It is
One of the cheapest there is. The big problem is that it has no self-guiding mode. That is, it is a kind of experiment. We're not going to see how it goes. I'm going to try to take photographs. Of course, the shots are going to be very short because they don't have self-guidance. I'm going to try maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30. Let's see how much you allow me without the star lines showing. Not having self-guidance is a little more complicated, but hey, the good thing is that this is a fairly small telescope with a focal length of 180 mm, which allows slightly longer exposure simply with tracking like this, start treated without self-guided. So of course, I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to control it from the laptop. I'm not going to plug it in. Now it still threatens rain, rather low dark clouds. So I don't want to take the risk. I'm not going to put the laptop. It's still pretty early now. I'm going to cover it with a waterproof tarp, but I'm going to get it ready so I don't do it at the last minute. And I repeat, this is going to be
the second instrument.
It is the one that will have the largest field of view because it is the shortest telescope of all, 180 millimeter, the largest camera.
Sensor.
It's like this 071 because it has a great sensor. It is in color, therefore I will not have to use a filter, etc. It's in color just like the one in the... Yes, there is a difference that this one has since this one is more specialized. Let's say a more expensive camera with a cooling system, but I'm not going to connect it yet. I'm just referring to the laptop, etc., because I'm simply going to leave this ready for the evening. Well, and finally, let's say the most sophisticated piece of equipment, so to speak, is this, the UA 17 harmonic mount, this excellent harmonic mount. With this telescope, it is perhaps, I think, the oldest telescope. That is the one that has been with it the longest, that I do not discard it. To upgrade, this EVO is on 72 CD. It is very economical. It is a 2-lens achromatic. I have already shown it in many other videos. This monochrome camera, the ACI 183 monochrome from the ZW, or of course the filter disc, because being the monochrome camera, well, if we want to have a color image, we need a color filter in this case because they are galaxies. If they are emission nebulae, well, as many know, it is normally used in narrowband. more commonly than color filters that can also be used. That is filter disc, monochrome camera, EvoStar 72 telescope. CD is UY17 harmonic mount, and of course, I'm going to do a guided car, in this case with this little 121 millimeter focal length aperture telescope, using this monochrome planetary camera, the ACES 174 monochrome. I repeat, and to control everything, this mini PC is the ACES R Mini that many know from the ZWB or. And then, of course, I'm going to control it from a tablet because this has a Wi-Fi system. There is ASIS Care, and then everything is controlled from the tablet. Electrical system still needs to be installed. Here I have a dew header, also a band of these anti-dew. In case it is necessary, I already have it installed. Almost all the cables are installed, but since it's still very early, it has been threatening rain, so I'm going to wait later to leave it. Really all ready to use. There's still time. This system is good. The only monochrome camera out of the three that I am going to use is the field of view. It's smaller. It's bigger than the one he is, but it's smaller than the one who takes it with the camera. ACI 071 colors for two things, two reasons. The focal length of this telescope is larger than that of the of which the Haskar is 250 mm, this is 420 mm. The other reason, the De La Sensor 183 is smaller than the Zero Sensor 71, so the field of view is going to be smaller. Very interesting then, three different combinations. I'm going to attack the Virgo zone, these clusters of galaxies in Virgo, but of course different zones with different fields of view. Let's see the result. Well, now there's the essential thing. Installed the telescope is the 72 CD with the monochrome camera 183, the ADCAL with the zero color camera 71, and the SciStar S50. In this case, equatorial mode, we just have to wait for it to come out at night. It has already been clearing as expected, as predicted. The big problem is that a lot of wind is also forecast. It is already quite windy. Let's see, I hope not. It doesn't get worse. Let's say it doesn't ruin my night. The luck is that this area here is surrounded by large trees that in a certain way protect from the wind, not generally. So I hope this is the case. Let's see. Wait until he comes out at night to stop. Start photography. Some laptops still need to be installed.
Details, but the essentials are ready to wait for the night.
All right, I'll begin.
With the yes.
Star, because it's the one with the smallest field of view. And then, since it's the one with the smallest field of view, I'm going to focus on a single galaxy. Of course, the C-star's field of view is enough to frame several galaxies in this entire Virgo area. But since it's the smallest, I'm going to do something, let's say, a little different. I'm going to focus on a single galaxy. It's one of my favorite galaxies, the most beautiful.
From the sky.
I mean, M104, the hot galaxy in Virgo, because I have photographed it before, but I want to try to at least photograph the night. It's not very good, let's say, but I want to photograph as much as possible. This galaxy is a relatively dark sky to see how, I mean, again, each galaxy in the hat, a beautiful galaxy. Many know her. In Virgo, then let's see what it would look like with the siestal. Let's put the siestal here. Let's say the visual field. this is how it would look. Okay, as you can see, the nap is not too big because it doesn't have much less. It has a pretty short period view. But I like this framing, especially because you see not the field of stars around, which is interesting. And I repeat, it's a beautiful, rather bright galaxy with this central band of dust and nebulae, etc., that makes it so peculiar, the Hat Galaxy in VIRGO. Let's see how it goes.
Well, this is it.
The picture, let's not say inferior to what I expected, has been quite cloudy. He couldn't finally do it. The polar orientation, so it had to be sinutely high due to a technical problem. He could not do the polar orientation, so it is high sinutely, and above all, a lot of wind. Also clouds that many images were discarded, but above all, a lot of wind, as you can see here, moving stars. But hey, that's what could be done. Unfortunately, the night was pretty bad, I'd have to say. More cloud is what I thought, but above all, I repeat, a very strong wind that is incredible that I have managed to take this image. The same thing happened with the other instruments. Let's see it in another video. So this is the image, let's say, automatically stacked 82 minutes. That is 1 hour, 22 minutes. I only say it only because I thought to give it a lot more time. And also with all these wind inconveniences, when it stacks automatically, because when there are clouds, sometimes it does not detect them when they are dim. And it also stacks some images with cloudy clouds, which also reduces the quality of the image. So we're going to work on it. I repeat, this is the original image stacked in automatically by the SciStar, but I'm going to work on it a little bit in Photoshop to try to improve it a little bit. I'm not going to do much more to you than that, because I repeat, with all these impediments, I don't think too much can be extracted from it. It is not a bad image for all these conditions with the SE Stahl, which is an excellent instrument, but we are going to try to improve it a little with Photoshop. Well, here we have the image in Photoshop. We're going to try to improve it a little, use the curves here to remove a little brightness from the background sky. Okay, we are going to work on the color balances. I repeat, it will be a job. It will not be too rigorous. But try to improve the image a little more contrast. Maybe it stops to accentuate this area of the central band here. Well, here's the picture, the final picture. Again, you can't ask for too much, 1 hour, 22 minutes, but especially with these conditions. The stars were a little oval, moved by the wind, very strong, very strong. It really looked almost like an incredible hurricane. Luckily, since there are trees around the observatory, quite tall trees because they protect it a little. No, but that's how it was. It was too strong. And the clouds that, when you do this piled up, well, sometimes it shows images with clouds, not when they are dim, that they are not too obvious. Well, this quality thing is a shame. I would have wanted a better night, but I think it's a decent picture, not for this telescope, this small and on such a bad night. Well,
It is.
first video of this trilogy with different instruments from the Bildu area, in this case with the star S50, the beautiful Galaxy M104, Galaxy of the Hat. So we're going to see in the next video another of the instruments with, of course, another area of this great Virgo cluster. Thank you very much to those who have been here, and until the next video in Astromania.